Before the sun fully rises, the streets are already alive. Taxi doors slide open and shut. Hawkers arrange their goods. Mothers call after children rushing off to school. Life moves forward, even when hearts are heavy. But in December 2025, Umlazi carried a different weight. A quiet heaviness that settled into conversations, into homes, into the air itself. People spoke in hushed tones. Others spoke with anger. Some couldn't speak at all. Because this time, the story was too painful to ignore. This time, the name was Simphiwe Zinhle Mchunu. She was 23 years old. A university student. A young mother. A daughter who once sat on her mother's lap and dreamed out loud. A woman whose future should still have been unfolding. Instead, her life ended in silence, buried, hidden, and taken too soon. Simphiwe was the kind of person you might pass on campus without noticing at first. Not loud, not flashy, but the people who truly knew her say she had a gentle presence, a calm energy. She listened more than she spoke. When she smiled, it was genuine, not forced. The kind of smile that came from someone who had already seen struggle and learned how to endure. At the University of KwaZulu-Natal, she was focused. Education wasn't just a phase for her. It was a lifeline. She understood what a qualification could mean in a country where opportunities don't come easily, especially for young women carrying responsibilities far bigger than themselves. And Simphiwe carried one of the biggest responsibilities of all. She was a mother. At just 20 years old, she gave birth to a daughter who became her entire world. Friends say Simphiwe often spoke about her child with a mix of pride and determination. She wanted better. She wanted stability. She wanted to finish her studies so her daughter would grow up seeing what resilience looks like. She wasn't living for herself alone anymore. Like many young women, Simphiwe was also navigating love. A relationship that, on the surface, seemed ordinary. Young people arguing, making up, promising change. The kind of relationship many would recognize emotional, intense, complicated. Her boyfriend was 22 years old. They spent time together. They argued. They reconciled. Nothing about it seemed alarming at first. But those close to Simphiwe noticed something shift. She became quieter. Less open. Less herself. Sometimes it's subtle. The kind of change people only fully understand in hindsight. A pause before answering questions. A tired look in the eyes. The way laughter comes less often. Then one day, Simphiwe didn't come home. Her phone stopped ringing. Messages went unanswered. Hours passed, then days. At first, there was confusion, not panic. People told themselves reasonable stories. Maybe she needed space. Maybe her phone died. Maybe she was overwhelmed with exams, with motherhood, with life. But deep down, her family felt it. Something was wrong. As days turned into weeks, hope and fear battled each other. Every knock at the door made hearts race. Every unknown call felt like it could change everything. Her family searched everywhere. Friends shared her photo. Her name spread across social media, carried by strangers who didn't know her but felt compelled to help. Please help us find her. Behind the scenes, questions began to circle around the one person who should have had answers, her boyfriend. His explanations didn't add up. His stories shifted. The details didn't align. And in cases like this, inconsistencies speak loudly. Desperate for answers, the family sought help beyond the usual channels. A private investigator was brought in, not because they wanted drama, but because they wanted the truth, because waiting was unbearable. Pressure mounted. And eventually, the truth began to crack its way to the surface. The boyfriend was arrested. What followed shattered whatever hope the family had left. He confessed. According to authorities, an argument between the couple escalated. Words turned into actions. A moment of anger became a lifetime of consequences. But what happened after the killing is what left the country stunned. On 22 December 2025, police went to the boyfriend's property in Umlazi. There, buried on the premises, was a suitcase. Inside it was Simphiwe, a young woman who once carried books to lectures. A mother who once held her child close. A life reduced to something hidden, as if it never mattered. When the news broke, Umlazi froze. People stood in disbelief. Neighbors struggled to process that such horror could exist so close to home. Mothers hugged their daughters tighter. Women looked at their partners differently. Men shook their heads, some in shame, some in anger. Because this wasn't just about Simphiwe anymore. It was about a pattern. South Africa knows this story far too well. Women killed by people they loved, by people they trusted, by people who once promised to protect them. These crimes don't happen in isolation. They happen in a society where warning signs are often ignored, where jealousy is mistaken for love, where control is normalized, where silence is encouraged. Simphiwe's death reopened wounds that never fully heal. For her family, the pain is permanent. Her parents are left with memories and questions that will never have satisfying answers. Her siblings must carry the knowledge that someone they loved suffered in ways they couldn't prevent. And then there is her daughter. 3 years old. Too young to understand death, but old enough to feel absence. She will grow up asking about her mother, looking for her face in photographs, wondering why she doesn't remember her voice. No sentence handed down in court can restore what was taken from that child. The boyfriend remains in custody, facing the full weight of the law. The legal process continues, slow, procedural, emotionally draining. Each court appearance forces the family to relive the trauma. Each delay feels like another injustice. But they persist. Because Simphiwe deserves justice. Not because it will bring her back, it won't. But because her life mattered. Because her story should not end in silence. Those who knew Simphiwe want the world to remember who she was, not just how she died. A student who showed up even when life was heavy. A mother who tried. A young woman who dreamed of a future she never got to live. Her death forces difficult questions. How many women are quietly enduring fear right now? How many warning signs are dismissed as normal relationship problems? How many families will only realize the danger when it's too late? Simphiwe's story is painful, but it is necessary. It asks us to listen more closely, to intervene sooner, to believe women when they say something feels wrong. Because behind every headline is a human being, a life, a family, a future cut short. Simphiwe Zinhle Mchunu should be alive today. She should be studying, laughing, raising her daughter, complaining about exams, planning her next chapter. Instead, her story ends as a warning and a plea. That we do better. That we protect women. That we refuse to normalize violence. That we remember her name. May her soul rest in peace. May her daughter grow up surrounded by love. And may justice speak loudly, even when Simphiwe no longer can.